Hey guys, welcome back to the Bird Brothers episode 2. We're going to talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts. Just how good do we think he can become? We're going to talk the James Bradbury edition, and if we get to it, we're going to do some schedule predictions, the old wins, losses, which is almost impossible to do at this point in the year. But if we have time, we're going to get to it. We're going to see how this flows. So, dude, I'm excited to talk about Mr. Jalen. So let's start there, man. What's your, and we're biased, we're Eagles fans, but we try to be objective. What's your thoughts on Jalen Hurts, man, and how good do you think he can become?
I mean, we've talked about it. I mean, times, but so we know he has the things you can't really teach. He's got the character, the work. I like his, he's got a real calm demeanor. It seems to be all the time. We know he's a gym rat. We saw the videos of him squatting what was like 600 and some pounds at Alabama.
More than me.
Yeah, a little more than me. Not much, but there's a lot of things we like, but obviously it's a business. You can't pick a guy off character. You can't pick off of, he's a good locker room guy. Those are obviously wonderful traits, but in the end, it's a business. And teams more than likely, if you look at it as this, if you have one guy on the opposite side of the spectrum who's, uber talented, can do everything that you want out of a quarterback, but isn't a great locker room guy, doesn't seem to be a leader. It's like he's going to win you more. He's probably going to win you more games rather than a guy who just, great guy, but can't really play quarterback that well. So I lean a little more. I wasn't excited about the pick when it happened because I was a believer in Carson Wentz. I thought, we can get Carson back to where he was, in the Super Bowl year. Just got to get him healthy, get his mind right. And obviously that didn't happen. But so I wasn't too excited about the pick. But, last year he did win me over a little. I'm definitely leaning still back, like away from it. I just didn't see enough. I saw way too many. He's real skittish. I think it was maybe 3/4 of the way through the year, he was the number one quarterback for leaving a clean pocket. And it wasn't even close. I was like, we have a good offensive line. And granted, we haven't had a lot of weapons. Devontae Smith, having him last year was a huge help. But we went real tight end heavy. And, so I'm really excited he's got some weapons. Our line's still intact. Hopefully they can stay healthy. We're going to see an uptick. I definitely think we're going to see an uptick. And one thing I was reading on about his off season, he's working out in like Southern California with ex-pros, things like that. And they said it's not so much what they didn't think it was. I always questioned his mechanics up top. I felt like he has the arm, but he's not putting enough on the deep ball. He's underthrowing people, or then he's overthrowing them by 15. But from what I saw, the videos and everyone's saying it's been his hips and his footwork that's hurting him. It's not his arm talent. We know he has it, but he's not using his hips to drive the ball. He's trusting, it's like trusting arm strength too much, almost thinking you have, a Patrick Mahomes cannon when you just don't. I do think we're going to see an uptick, so last year he went 3,100 yards, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions at just over 60% completion. So not great. But not a lot of talent at the wide receiver position to throw to. I don't want to make excuses for him, but it's pretty easy to if you look at the targets he was thrown to. So I do think we're going to see an uptick in the passing side. And I think we're going to see a downturn probably in the rushing because I'm hoping he doesn't have to run as much. He ran for 780 yards, 10 touchdowns. So accounted for 26 touchdowns. I think we're going to see a downturn in that. I don't think he's going to need to run as much. But I think we'll see a pretty substantial bump in touchdowns and yardage with obviously just the addition of A.J. Brown. And I think off-season work, he's probably has a better understanding of what he can do and what the coaches, expect of him.
Yeah, dude,
sorry, I kind of went on a rant there, but I could probably talk about it for an hour.
No, there's so much to cover, and those are great points. I am definitely becoming more of a fan of him. I'm certainly not sold on like, is he the guy? Like, no, I'm not sold yet. But I mean, he's only played 1 year.
Right.
And, you know, one thing about me, I'm super conservative in life in general. So like I have one Eagles jersey. It's
Right.
Dawkins. Like he's retired. It's done. His career's over, and we know he was phenomenal.
Right.
I was this close to buying a Wentz jersey. He was almost the MVP of the league, and I was like,
I did buy a Winster. We're opposite sides of the spectrum there. Where I have 27 jerseys, and maybe 4 of them actually had good careers with the Eagles. So
Yeah.
I think curse whatever I buy, we trade or we get rid of them. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know what we saw with Wentz? I mean, you just never know. A guy's career is, you know, like, so, well, I won't get off too much on tangent, but when, just to compare how you never know how careers are going to go. Like when they were coming out of the draft, Amari Cooper and Odell Beckham.
yeah,
I liked Amari Cooper better coming out, just watching YouTube highlights, right? And as I said, I'm not a scout. I liked Cooper better. Odell Beckham comes on the scene and like he looks like Randy Moss. He looks like a freak. He's
right.
dominating people. Rookie year, dominant. Looks like unbelievable. Well, then he's got an attitude issue and he gets injured and he's got this and that. And so I've never looked at their numbers, but I was thinking about that the other day. I wonder who's had more production,
Right.
Cooper or Beckham. So you just never know with someone's career in this league, man. It's up and down. There's late bloomers.
Yeah.
There's early risers who plateau and decrease. You know, Brandon Graham was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz came on the scene, looked like the man, and then something happened. He couldn't handle it, or he got paid, or he got married and had babies, or whatever happened, you know, with Wentz happened. With Hurts, man, here's what I love about him. You need to build something. You need a strong foundation.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many guys that don't have that. And I've said it, I've mentioned this in our last episode. He's got leadership. I've heard people say he might not be a top 15, he might not be a top 15 quarterback,
Right.
top 3 or top 5 in work ethic. So you've got the work ethic, you've got the leadership, you've got the intangibles. And that's what Tom Brady had. That's what Tom Brady's been built on. I know they're different players. I'm not comparing Jalen Hurts to Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady. I'm just saying that is magic. The leadership and the charisma and the rallying the troops, like that's magic. It is like magic. You can't teach it. You can't get it anywhere else. You can't put that inside somebody. So those are attributes for winning in life. We know he's got a strong arm. I think at the combine he got clocked at like 85 miles an hour. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, not 85. Whatever you throw a football, he was like 59, 60. He had one of the stronger arms. I think Justin Herbert was the only guy who threw the ball harder than him miles per hour wise.
Right.
And that makes sense that the footwork leads to accuracy, because I mean that's exactly how it is in baseball. You know, you got to point your shoulder, your feet. If your feet are moving slow, and your feet really drive how you throw the ball. Everything stems from the footwork. So I'm hopeful. You just don't really know until you see him out on the field, man. But
right.
I will say some things I saw last year. So early in the year, I saw him break the pocket and roll to the right a lot.
Yeah.
And it was a habit. He continued to do that. Then I saw that decrease. I saw him. He didn't just default to the right-hand side. I remember versus Denver, there was a great play where he stepped up in the pocket, slid to the left, set his feet, and threw a strike to, I believe, Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
It was a great play. And what was nice was like, okay, we're seeing improvement.
Right.
We don't even know what his reads are. You know, we don't know the plays. But I saw, oh, he didn't, run away. He slid up in the pocket. He slid to the left. So I saw some marked improvement. And you mentioned it, man. I'm excited to see second year in the system, second year as the starter. Only his second year really in the league.
Yeah.
Second year playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've done some things to help him. You know, I can't help but to say I wish we would have went and got a guy like Devontae Smith and AJ Brown when we had Carson Wentz.
Right.
You know,
I don't think the Wentz thing was. I mean, yes, obviously he did. I mean, the things he did with what he had is remarkable. Like I would have never expected that, and I don't feel like there's like that year he played. He just, I mean, way above what he could ever be. Really, I mean, like trading up, you get excited about it. You hear we traded up, you know, you start watching his highlights, but then there's always that small school mentality, which is kind of, I think, going, you know, by the wayside as the league evolves. But he did more with what he had than I mean, there's not a lot of guys that can do that. I think it was more of a mental, there was something mental, whether it was going on in personal life or whatever. Who knows? We'll probably never know. But as far as getting back to Jalen, I think the biggest question is, what is his ceiling? Where we know he's going to improve because he has that mentality. You know, he's a gym rat. He's a leader. You know, he's real calm, cool, collective. But when is he going to reach is he going to reach his peak this year? Is he already at his peak? Is he, you know, obviously if you add weapons around him, he might improve some. But if he comes out and puts up similar numbers, you know, 3 to 3,500 yards and, you know, 20 touchdowns or less, it's not good enough, you know, especially with, you know, if AJ Brown stays healthy, Devontae Smith, Goddard, and we, you know, lean a little on the run, take some pressure off him, there's no reason we shouldn't see 4,000 yards and, you know, 30 touchdowns. If he's a legitimate, you know, starter in the NFL. But we won't know until we get there, obviously, to see what he's had. It's easy to read the off-season workouts. And again, the guys you're reading their articles, they're Eagles fans a lot of times. So if I'm writing for the Eagles, you can say like, we're not going to be biased. We're going to give you honest opinions, but mentally you're just being biased. It's just natural to be biased. Like if we have time to talk about the schedule today, I felt like I was being biased. I'm like trying to shut it off in my brain where I'm like,
we're going undefeated, right?
Right. Yeah. Easy. No, but like I'm like, I need to shut this off. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm just a football fan. I need to pick this, you know, wins, losses, and just try to be unbiased. But I don't know, man. I do, like you said, he's grown on me a little bit. I love the character. I love how everyone talks about him. You know, I think he's just a dog as far as just doing like the gym stuff is huge, but I don't need my quarterback to squat 700 pounds. It's cool that you can, but I guarantee Tom Brady's never squatted, you know, 600-700 pounds. Aaron Rodgers in the squat. Like, I just need you to throw the football. I just need you to work on your footwork, whatever is hindering you and making your accuracy. Because it's easy to go back and watch. Like, now you get brainwashed seeing AJ Brown. You're like, oh man, we're gonna have a monster season. But if you go back and watch last year, man, there's good plays, but there's a lot of bad plays where it's just horribly throwing balls behind people constantly. I mean, I remember probably 3 or 4 in one game to Devontae Smith where it's like wide open slant, probably could have took it for 30, 40 yards, maybe a touchdown, and it's thrown like a foot behind his hip, like on his hip. And, you know, he snagged some of them, but it's like those little things. I don't need you to, you know, be the best deep ball passer in the league, but the little things we have to get, especially with a guy like AJ Brown, who's get him the ball, just get him the ball accurately while he's moving. We can't throw it behind him. So I'm excited to see how much he's evolved. I actually wrote down like it's obviously we're never going to know, but I'm thinking he's going to be in the 4,000 range, around 30 touchdowns and probably around the same amount of picks. I'd say 8 to 10 ish. And like I said, I think we'll see a down tick in like how often he runs. I hope. I mean, the 10 touchdowns are nice, but our quarterback's running because we're not able to pass it or we're not able to get open.
Yeah. I feel like Jalen does a pretty good job of getting down when
Yeah,
runs.
he does. He does.
And so as long as he can get down, they're not allowed to touch him. Such an
Yeah.
advantage. I mean, so I like the read options. I like showing the read options, and I like it even as a fundamental part of our running game. And what's different this year, I think, what I'm hoping is different is you send another guy down in the box to stop the read option, a guy to take Miles Sanders or Boston Scott or Kenny Gainwell, and you have another guy assigned to Hurts. So if he keeps it, you're prepared. Well, if you start sending people down in the box like that, man, we've got some serious threats. I mean, you got to cover Dallas Goedert. You've got to cover AJ Brown. You've got to cover Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
You got somebody possibly covering Quez Watkins if we're in 11 personnel. So I'm interested to see it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's I love Jalen as a person, as a leader. He's very stoic. Love him. Love everything about his character and the way he communicates, the way he thinks about life, opportunity, obstacles. I love all of that.
Yeah.
That being said, and that's a great foundation that you can build with. And Sirianni says people like that reach their potential.
Right.
Football IQ, they love the game, they got the dog mentality, and he's got some talent. So that helps. That being said, when we drafted him, I was pissed.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, what the heck? I was like, oh my God, what the hell are we doing?
The franchise crumbling pick at time. It could have been,
We just signed Carson Wentz to a $100 million deal.
Yeah.
He threw for 4,000 yards. Not one receiver had 500 yards. He had flashes of an MVP caliber season. He doesn't get enough credit for this, I don't think, but I believe he completely changed the culture of our locker room. He came in. I heard Jason Kelce say he completely changed our offense when Carson came into town. So you start winning games. You beat the Giants late with a 63-yarder. You're getting momentum. This quarterback's playing at such a high level. And it's the whole morale, the confidence, your identity as a team changed. So you were built into this, confident, well-performing team. And then the leader goes down and they were able to finish the job. But it's like getting a rocket off the ground. 90% of the fuel is used to get off the ground. And so what Wentz did, and I'm not really a Wentz fan now, but what he did, I think doesn't really get enough credit because I think he had a large part of getting that organization to a new level.
Yeah.
And then Foles, was able to execute and played at a super high level for a short period of time and got the job done. But
for sure. We've talked about that. Not to get too crazy off topic, but with the Wentz thing, we're not winning that Super Bowl. The people that said if Nick Foles was our quarterback, we would have never won that Super Bowl if Nick Foles was our quarterback for that entire season. Now, I love Nick Foles. I love his character. I love that we brought him back. And I love that Cinderella story, miracle run we had. Amazing. I would have never expected that. When Carson went down, no one was like, it's all right, we got Nick Foles. We're going to win the Super Bowl. No one thought that. Everyone was you try to be positive, you're like, man, our defense is going to have to step up, our other parts. So no one expect that, but we don't win that Super Bowl without Carson Wentz having that year. With Nick Foles at the helm week 1 and runs the whole season, we're not winning the Super Bowl. I don't care what anyone says. Again, I love Nick Foles, but he just, I don't know. He just had a great miracle run. He had that one great season with us where he was our starter. He was 27 touchdowns and 2 picks or something like that.
Chip Kelly.
But yeah, with Chip Kelly era. But
then we traded him.
Yeah. And we traded LaShawn McCoy. But Kiko Alonso was a stud for us. So
He had a one-handed interception in the preseason.
Yeah. Yep.
Say no more. Yeah, so I'm sorry, guys. I get off topic and start going on and on. It's about Jalen. But what I was saying is when we drafted Jalen, I was not happy. I thought he was a terrible quarterback in college. And it's like I don't want to say these things because now he's our quarterback.
Right.
But when I saw him in Alabama, when he was a freshman, I was like, man, this dude's legit. When he was a freshman at Alabama, because he was winning and he's leading this team and he's mobile.
Like the Oklahoma thing scares me. I don't like drafting quarterbacks from Oklahoma because you guys put up 65 points a game no matter who's playing quarterback.
Yeah, and then as I watched him and everybody saw they pulled Jalen Hurts out of the game and put the backup in the national championship game.
Yeah.
Because Jalen could not throw the ball down the field. They had no passing game.
Yeah.
They could not pass the football. And they have top flight wide receivers.
Yeah, every year.
So here we are in the NFL, we're saying, well, now we've added some weapons. And Jalen's come a long way. And that's something that's very intriguing is that a lot of people are saying every single year he has improved.
Yeah.
And you don't see that generally. So, if he improves this year, why would we think that he won't improve the following year? And I just don't know how much of a runway he's going to have. It takes when you get in a plane, you got a couple miles.
Yeah.
Start the engine. You're on the ground for a while until you get lift. And I just wonder if he's going to have enough runway.
Right.
To really hit his stride and reach his potential, because this isn't like the old days. It seems like I think some of it kind of comes from PFF, this mentality of draft a quarterback every year, and it's either he's a winner or immediately, after his first year, if he's a winner or a bust. It's like they just kind of count guys out really quickly.
It is a different league to be. I think it's easier to see potential in quarterbacks because, everyone always uses like Peyton Manning as his like rookie year, like as like a, scenario. So didn't have a great rookie year, didn't look to be very good, and obviously Hall of Fame career. But it is a different league. You see more of what quarterbacks have now because they throw the ball twice as much. So back then, you could turn and hand it to your running back, your first and second running back 35 times, 40 times a game. So you didn't get to see a ton. Now we have quarterbacks throwing the ball 50 times a game. So you see more. I think it's basically you're just speeding up your evaluation process. So instead of taking 3 years to see what a quarterback has or 4 years, we're going to let them play their first 4 and see what they have. Now you're seeing twice as much in a season.
Yeah.
But the problem is if you don't give them talent around them, you can't evaluate them properly. It's not a fair evaluation. So I don't think, it'd be fair to count them out, say after last year's, and again, neither of us like the pick. But if you can't throw the football, you can't throw the football. It's obviously a little important to throw the football as a quarterback. So now that we have some talent, I think I agree. I don't think the runway is going to be real long. I think because for one, you don't want to waste, what we have in our offensive line. You don't want to waste 3 years to the guy you're not confident in. So I think this year is going to be a big, there's going to be a big question mark on it. At the end of the season. What is it going to look like? Did Jalen do what we wanted him to do? Did he progress like we wanted with talent around him? And, we'll see. We're going to see an uptick. I would be shocked if he put up similar numbers last year and it looked like the same. But if that's the case, then right then you don't he's not the guy. Because there's character guys that just can't play football now. One guy he's not nearly as talented as Jalen Hurts, but JT Barrett from Ohio State. Not a single person ever said anything bad about this guy. Great character, shows up early, works his butt off in the gym, off-season workouts, setting up his own thing, paying money I remember hearing the story about him paying money out of pocket to travel to a training thing so you could train with wide receivers. And it's like, I love that, but he hit his ceiling at Ohio State. So now Hurts is way more talented than JT Barrett ever was, but how high is his ceiling? Can he be a franchise quarterback? And how long are we going to give him? Are we going to give him three seasons? We're going to give him 2 and then kind of start to look elsewhere. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with it. I mean, I don't know. Only time will tell.
Yeah. Well, really what we really got to see is, and this is the big question. We know he can run. We know he's a leader. Can he learn? Can he become comfortable in the pocket and see the field? So a guy that I thought of that I've seen do this, that developed, number one, Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
He's still later in his career. He had moments of throwing the ball into the dirt. He had moments where when he would miss low, skip balls to people. He had kind of a funny throwing motion, but he made marked progress. And, we went to 4 consecutive NFC championship games, went to a Super Bowl, lost against the best quarterback in the history of the game, the best coach. McNabb really made progress.
Yeah.
In the pocket. That's what I want to see, in the pocket. Another guy who was a runner. I know Steve Young has been kind of comped. He was pretty mobile and then played from the pocket well. I think of Steve McNair.
Yeah.
McNair late in his career had like an MVP caliber season. He was the MVP, or he was close, where he really was throwing the ball well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just nobody knows until we see. Playing from the pocket, it seems like some guys have this innate feel for stepping up in the pocket, feeling pressure on the backside, keeping 2 hands on the football, and just Brady's a master of it.
Yeah.
He's not mobile, but he moves in the pocket. Like if someone tries to, jab you in the face, you don't need to jump 4 feet to the right. You just kind of slide a little bit.
That's what we need.
So good at that.
I hope it's not super drastic where he's coming out and they, it's not one of the things where they're like, all right, this is what you're good at doing. This is what you've been good at doing. And they just try to take it away, like someone trying to turn Michael Vick into a pocket passer. You can't do it. You have to incorporate pocket passing things, but he's where he's at because of what he's done. So kind of the same idea with Jalen Hurts. He's mobile. He's not as good of a deep passer. I think he has the arm for it, but his mechanics obviously have been off. But like a Russell Wilson type, where he's going to run for 700 yards or so, which is fine if you protect yourself. Mm-hmm. And Russell Wilson does a really good job considering their line is atrocious. He's running for his life every year. But it also doesn't hurt that you have Lockett and DK Metcalf, where you can just chuck the ball as far as you can and DK Metcalf will go get it. So I am curious to see, like you said, I want to see Jalen Hurts with some new attributes, because I like what Hurts does. I like that he's mobile, but he's got to learn, like you said, pocket presence. He's got to learn to trust your tackles, trust your 6'8", 265-pound left tackle is going to protect you, and just
365 pounds.
Oh, what I said, 265. Yeah, 265, small. You know, that's just LeBron James, but 100 pounds. He has 100 pounds on LeBron. But so we need to see Jalen Hurts as is, and then just add some attributes. And because I don't want it to be a thing where it's like, all right, forget everything you know. We're gonna make you, Tom Brady. And it's like it's not gonna work, because we're not using his skills that he was, that are God given. His ability to run, his ability to, break the pocket, but he has to know when, and where to do that. So I think adding AJ Brown is obviously a huge, huge piece, because it's going to give us opportunity to get the ball out quick. And, maybe, who knows, he might be like more of a Deebo Samuel type, like plays where you're using the backfield, end arounds, things like that. So I like that. I think the worst thing we could have done was go out and get just a standard deep threat, because he doesn't need that. He needs the ball out of his hand quick. And go through progressions quickly. And with those two guys who are both quick twitch guys, I think that'll help. Because I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to drop back and bomb it, for 65 yards. He will, like, occasionally, but that's not going to be our bread and butter. It's going to be get it out quick, comebacks and, slants. So, no, like I said, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm more of a believer this year than I was last year. Adding weapons helps, but I just hope we see a leap because we leap.
All that being said, like his basically his rookie year this year, his first year as a starter, unexpectedly, I think they tried to bring back Wentz and couldn't get that done, and so then Jalen's the starter all of a sudden, and he was a Pro Bowl alternate, for whatever that means to you. We went to the playoffs during a rebuild year, during the year where we were paying our previous quarterback a crap load of money, lots of dead money.
$34 million, I think.
A lot. Yeah. Most ever, I think, at the time. And we went to the playoffs, man. So, I mean, I want to ask, like, could he have done any more this year? Like, I guess he could have been more of a natural passer, but how far he's come, like what I saw at Alabama, and he's come a long way.
Yeah.
To the NFL. And so I really want to see that, what you said, short passing, timing routes, curls, slants, running the football. Dude, if they try to do this air raid offense, they're going to bury him.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to bury him. You need to run the read option. You need to run Miles Sanders. You need to run our running backs behind that line. Let Jalen run a little bit. Have him get out of bounds. Have him slide. Get him into the game. Have him hit Devontae on timing routes. Have him mix in A.J. Brown. And then when you're balanced, then you can drop back 5-step, 7-step drop, take a shot, take your shots. But they've got to be calculated. And it's just we've got a really talented offense, man.
Yeah, very.
If we utilize it all, like if we have deep threats, we have guys who can threaten all three levels. We've got running backs, we got a quarterback that can run, we got a tight end over the middle. But if teams see that we're not running the ball, we're not using Jalen to run, Jalen's not running, the Eagles aren't running. Like one game last year, dude, we ran the ball twice in the whole first half, right?
So it was actually, I think was it the Browns?
I don't remember.
I'm thinking what it might not be the Browns, but what popped in my head was the Browns game. Was we ran successfully, averaged like 6 point something yards a carry in the first half. This could be a different game than what you're thinking. And ran because it was pouring rain. Passes were not being completed. They're being overthrown. We ran the ball very successfully. Second half, I think he had 2 carries. And
as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole. And it's like, what like mentality? And then we kept begging every week. We're like, man, run the ball. Run behind our line that is designed, like, we're good at this. Get Jason Kelce on a rollout, let him maul some people, and let him do what he does. And then all of a sudden they flipped a switch. It was like they were like, hey, what do you guys want to do? Like, let's run the ball. And they just, okay, yeah. So it was like they answered our prayers and it was successful. Last season was a very successful season in my eyes, from what I thought we were going to be to what it looked like at the beginning of the year. And I was like, man, like this is going to be a long year, but hopefully we'll see some young guys, grow. And then they turned it around by running the football. So we have to do that. I hope we don't get into the air raid.
I feel like we will.
I don't know, man. I think it's easy to. I think it's like if you're playing Madden and you have like a stud receiver, but your best bet is to run the ball because the guy you're playing sucks at stopping the run. But you're like, but I also have AJ Brown, so I'm just gonna throw it a lot to AJ Brown. So I hope I don't know, man. I think we will lean more towards the pass. It's easy to get excited. You know, Devontae's second year, you know, he has a legitimate, you know, running mate beside him. But I think we'll probably start out heavy pass and then probably lean back on the run a little bit, because it's not going to be super successful if you just come out and just start slinging it. Because teams are literally, I hope we come out balanced, but teams are, I'm assuming what I would do is load the box and make Jalen beat us with his arm.
That's
You're
what
not
I
going
would do.
Yeah, you're not going to run for 200 yards on me. So I'm just going to load the box and I'm going to see what Jalen has.
That's exactly how you would. That's exactly what they do to Lamar Jackson.
Mhm.
And that's why I am a fan of Lamar Jackson from the aspect of, man, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Holy cow, like best runner since Vic, maybe better than Vic. I hold Michael Vick in very high regard, man. He's a freak. I'd probably still put Vic above him. And also Vic wasn't utilized like him. You know,
No.
Vic didn't run like called running plays like Lamar.
It was like they put a limiter on Vic.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to run. It's like, no, we want you to throw more. Like if they would just let him go loose, just play your game, I don't think anyone would ever touch him.
If you would have had John Harbaugh building an offense like that around Vic,
right?
You know, like Warwick Dunn, Algie Crumpler, like getting some receivers. But anyways, oh shoot, lost my train of thought. Do you remember what you were saying right before I started talking?
So we're just basically covering like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna come out pass heavy, air raid? Are they going to let Jalen be Jalen? And we basically got to the point of saying like,
It came back to me.
You can't dial someone's natural skills back, basically. So, you know, we got onto the Lamar. Lamar's fun to watch, but he's not.
Come playoff time, bro, they shut him down.
Well,
can't throw the ball.
Think about it though. Like if our bread and butter, let's say, is you know, running the football, whether it's Jalen, read option, let's say that's our bread and butter this season, which I like the running game. Passing's exciting, but if you can consistently run it, we've seen what the Titans could do. The Titans just handed Derrick Henry, and they win football games by being consistent.
Dude, I have something to add here. You said, let's say our bread and butter is running the ball, the running game with Jalen, with the backs. It's like, to me, it's like bizarre to even question whether or not that's our bread and butter.
Yeah.
We're the number one rushing team in the league last year. It's like, if you've got, like, I watched the Reds some. We got this young kid, Hunter Green. He throws the ball over 100 miles an hour consistently, more than anybody else in the league. It's like, oh, what's his best pitch? Well, his fastball.
Right.
You know, like his fastball is ridiculous. So, well, this year we're gonna make his best pitch his curveball.
Right.
It's like, well, this year we're gonna flip the freaking script. We're gonna go from the number one running attack in the league with a tremendous offensive line and a mobile, strong, hard-nosed quarterback, 3 capable backs, and a good blocking tight end. Yeah, we're going to get out on the perimeter. We're going to change everything. It's like, dude, our identity and our bread and butter is running the ball. Yep. These guys are compliments. If you can't contain yourself, you get too excited and try to, like, you know, hammer the ball downfield, like, it's going to shoot us in the foot.
It will. And I mean, we saw it last year. We tried to get too crazy. And then the screens. God help us if we come out and throw 37 screens a game. I want the ball out quick on slants, comebacks, because those are consistent. I'm telling you, I don't care what corner is on Devontae Smith. If he runs 15 comebacks in a game, he's going to catch 9 of them. If the quarterback is accurate. Like, he's a hard guy to cover. He's slippery. He can beat you deep. He's very, quick twitch type guy. So he's gonna be open. That's what I want. I don't want screens like every other play. I don't want to see 2 screens every possession where we, roll to the right, fake a handoff, and then try to dump it back. it doesn't work. The whole idea of a screen is to surprise the defense. If you run it 35 times, it's not surprising anyone. It's like they just know. They're like, okay, you're going to just shadow the running back because they're going to probably run a screen. I mean, how many times were we sitting there and I'm like, they're going to run this stupid play? Like, you just know. Or it's like 3rd and inches. I was like, watch, they're going to run like a play action and bomb it 50 yards down the field. It's like, we'll go 5 wide. And it's like, dude, it's a little baffling sometimes, but I just hope we don't go screen heavy. If we do, then that tells me they're not confident in Jalen. If you're basing your game plan around screens and like things where you don't have to be very accurate, you just kind of got to roll and just float it in a vicinity and let someone go to work. So we'll see. I think the best option is, 65% run, lean on the run more, and then, quick game in the passing game. And I think that would be beneficial for everyone. I think it'll get Jalen confident. I think Jalen's best early when you let him make a few layups. Like you see guys in games where they're just in a slump and it's like, okay, like I say, it's a perimeter shooter. We're not going to have you shoot threes. We're going to get you, pick and roll. We're going to get you a layup, get your mind right. And then we're going to get you in the game. He was best every time when we got him, even if it wasn't him passing, even if it's just him momentum, hand the ball off, get a couple first downs, you get confident. Like you're not even doing anything. You're just turning and handing it off. It gives you confidence. It gets you going. So I don't know if there's a better team in the league at running the ball when we start getting it rolling. Like we can do it and they know it's coming and they can't stop it. And it's 8 out of 10 possessions. We're going to, have multiple first downs, things like.
Except for when we ran into Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Well, that's a freak defense. There's only one Tampa Bay. I mean,
but those are the types of defenses that you see in the playoffs.
Yeah. So
we went to the playoffs last year, right? So if we get to the playoffs this year and we lose, that's why you said 65-35. That's a little strong for me. I like running the football. I would like to see more of like a 55 run, 55 run, 45 pass. Close. I like balance. I don't want to be like, 1920s. I don't want to be Lancaster High School running the wing tee. You throw the ball one time a game.
No, I get that. But things change in the playoffs, which sounds stupid because if you got to the playoffs, you would think what you did to the regular season would be good enough, but it's not. You have to evolve as the season gets on, and it depends on who you're playing too. If you're playing Tampa Bay, where they have, the crazy linebackers that sideline to sideline is insane, and you can't get outside on them. Yeah, it's different when you have 350-pound Vita Vea in the middle who doesn't move. It's a little hard, but like I said, there's only one Tampa Bay. Like the odds of us, they're not horrible. Like Tampa Bay is going to be in the playoffs again. We know that. We know that we might have to play them, but I don't think you can base 55 just seems a little, only because I don't have a ton of confidence in Hurts. 55 seems a little light for me. But again, maybe get to the playoffs and it depends on who we're playing. If we're playing Tampa Bay again, maybe lean a little more on the run or on the pass. Because we're not going to be able to run very well on them. But I think consistency is key, man. We saw the Titans do it with Tannehill, who is just, I don't know. I think he's good, but he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. We know that. He's trying to think of someone to compare him to, but they just leaned on the run. When Derrick Henry even went out, they had backups. Just come in and just hand it off, and it consistently worked because they were good at running the ball. Now, who knows what they're going to do because they don't have AJ Brown, they don't have Julio Jones. So that's what
go.
I don't know. I don't know that it matters anymore. I think Julio might be done for.
Was he good last year?
He's okay. I mean, I obviously I play fantasy football, so I tend to think of players as that. but then maybe like there's a guy who's like, oh, he wasn't very good for fantasy. So then in my head, I'm like, oh, he wasn't very good. But there's times, where guys had, 800 yards and 8 touchdowns, which is solid, but it's not Julio, it's not the Julio we're used to. I think we expected to see Julio Jones do that forever, but
yeah. Do you think that Tannehill is kind of in like the Joe Flacco,
yeah, I think,
Dilfer type of mold?
yeah, because if you take away Derrick Henry, who's a freak, they're probably not a playoff team. They have some stuff, like some very good pieces, but Tannehill's their weakness because of teams. But it's honestly the games I watch, even when they loaded the box, Derrick Henry would still go for 140, 150. But it's the teams that are high powered that they couldn't keep up with because Tannehill is their weakness. Once if they get behind it all, you can't continue to pound the football. You got to start throwing it, and Tannehill can't do that. So that kind of scares me with the same mentality of us. If we get behind and we can't lean on the run and can't do stuff, can Jalen lead us back? Can he throw the ball, 2-3 times a possession, or 2-3 down, like maybe second, third down, throw the ball? But yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'd still lean heavy on the run, at least like 60%, because I don't want to put it in Hurts' hands. But who knows? Like I said, maybe he'll come out and take a huge leap, got some more confidence, got some talent. Maybe he had a great offseason. So we'll see.
One quick note. We got about 12 minutes, then we hit the hour mark. We can go over a little bit if you want. One quick note is, what throw Jalen Hurts, I've seen him make very well, like consistently make this throw, is like a fairly deep out route to Goddard.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side of the field. He's thrown that pass really well. So I'm hoping to see more of, like when I would watch Carson play, man, it was almost like when in his great year, like you couldn't it's like he couldn't do any wrong.
Yeah.
Like he felt pressure. He threw the ball on time. The timing was great. The accuracy was good. It's like, so I'm really hoping to see more of that from Jalen. The timing's huge.
Yeah.
And there were times last year where it seemed like the guy was even open and he hesitated.
Oh, absolutely. He hesitated.
You got to be able to cut that thing loose.
The whole Carson, which if you watch these players, you eventually learn to adjust your mentality on them. But like that whole year with Carson, I felt like you're flying by the seat of your pants. Like it's just like he's out of the pocket. It's just crazy, like chaos. But to be successful in the NFL, you have to be calm under chaos because there's chaos every play. You have edge rushers coming off, a linebacker blitzes, someone doesn't get blocked, whatever the case may be. There's chaos every play. That whole year just kind of felt like chaos. Like I'm just like, you're like gripping you're just like waiting. And then Carson makes an extraordinary play and you're like, okay. But if you do that consistently, then you become Aaron Rodgers. Then you become Tom Brady, where you're like, you're not like that anymore. You're just like relaxed, sitting back. You're like, hey, he's fine. Like he'll do it. And we just didn't obviously see that long enough for Carson, but that's kind of what we need to see is like Joe Burrow is a great example. The dude is cool, man. Like just does not care about pressure coming. There's guys flying a corner blitz, doesn't even he sees him, doesn't acknowledge it. He just does his job. So that whole mentality of I have to trust my line. And if Joe Burrow can trust his line, then anyone can trust their line in the NFL. The line was atrocious and they went to the Super Bowl. So we need to see that from Jalen, where he drops back and he doesn't get where he's kind of looking to his right and peeking, he's coming. Your tackle, your tight end, someone's going to do their job. They're going to pick him up. And not every time. There's going to be times where you get smacked. But you have to have the mentality that, I'm trusting this, trust the process. The pocket's going to form. I'm going to take my step forward. I'm going to throw it on time. So I think we just need to see that. You see a few plays like the one you described in Denver where he slid up, slid over, made a perfect throw. But again, it's the same thing. You're sitting there like every snap. I'm like, if he drops back the pass, I'm like holding on, like, oh, come on, like do something, please. And we saw maybe 8 to 10 plays where we're like, that's a good play. That's that's what we need to see. So it just needs to get more consistent. If we saw it 10 times last year, we need to see it 25 times this year. We need to see plays where we're like, that's what we need. That's what we need to be successful. So that's kind of the whole mentality I had with Wentz, man. You start to get more comfortable with the throws and things like that. You're like, all right, this guy can play. But we haven't seen it consistent enough.
Yeah. Didn't Jalen have like, I know one of his worst games was against the Giants. So like when he had 9 picks, he threw like 3 just in one game to the Giants, the crappy Giants.
Yeah.
So I would, if you take those, terrible, horrible games that were kind of outliers, he's pretty good at protecting the football.
Yeah.
So he had 26 total touchdowns last year. What do you think his total might be this year?
I'm thinking it's going to be in the 30, 38, 37, 38 range total. I think he's going to throw for close to 30. I think he'll probably run for another 7, 8. But I think we're going to be around that 30. I think it'd be hard not to. But that's what I wrote down. I wrote down 4,000 yards roughly. I think he's going to be in the 62, 65 completion percentage because he's going to still miss throws because he's just not super accurate, which is fine if you're not turning the ball over. If you're going to miss deep. You can't underthrow people. But I have him at 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and I put it at 550 yards and 7 touchdowns rushing. So a down tick. Last year,
good enough? Is that good enough for the Eagles fans to say, "Oh, we got our guy"? Because next season, you got to start talking contract extension.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good enough to give him another year. If our defense
franchise tag. Oh, you mean like not? So he'll play this year. He plays next year, basically to end out his contract.
Yeah. So I think it's enough.
Maybe like a year-to-year approach.
Yeah. So I think if this coming season he does the 4,000 around 30 and 8, runs for 7 or so, 500 like in that range. If our defense is what we think it's going to be, and we do lean on the run a little more, that's enough for me to give him another year, to give him that final year before we make a decision. And if he comes out and he doesn't improve from there, then it's probably time to talk about something else. But that doesn't mean we can't, you can't look, go look at some, prospects coming in or, whoever's going to be free agents, whatever. But yeah, I'm not definitely, that wouldn't convince me to be like, okay, give him 100 million. But it would be to let him play another year for us.
I got 2 questions. One, so I want to ask you a question about Lamar Jackson, and then I want to end with, and we'll have to talk about Bradbury and the schedule predictions. So we're at an hour. We'll talk about that another time, but it's a big topic. So I want to ask you about Lamar, and then I want to kind of like each of us kind of make a claim, and I haven't really thought about it, but it's okay. We can be wrong. I want us to kind of say like, what's Jalen going to be? Predict his future.
Right.
Whether he's going to be with us or not. So the first question with Lamar, so I saw this YouTube clip somebody put up about here's how it could happen. Lamar Jackson to the Eagles.
Right.
Lamar is a better runner. Probably doesn't have near the intangibles that Jalen has. But I honestly think Lamar's a better runner. But I feel like if we somehow ended up with Lamar, we'd be in the same damn situation we're in now. What do you think about that?
So, I mean, are you essentially asking me would I trade? Like, if I could swap spots? I mean, we're not going to get into like compensation, whatever it costs, but
For
if I
the
could.
future of the Eagles, if we had Lamar Jackson, doesn't matter how, we're not going to get into all that. Just, do you think that the Eagles would be much better off long term with Lamar Jackson compared to Jalen Hurts? And I'm not talking about winning games. I'm talking about winning Super Bowls. Would there
Right.
be a difference?
Well, to be fair, like it'd be different if we had, a guy who we know is a pocket passer and he showed signs. We don't know that Jalen Hurts can do that yet. We don't know that he can be consistent. So if you're asking me if I would swap it, yes, I would take our odds of winning the Super Bowl are better with Lamar Jackson.
Right now.
I honestly, that's to me, it's pretty easy. Because realistically,
But here's where I'm coming from. Lamar can't throw from the pocket.
but neither can Hurts.
Right. So I'm saying that so far, but I'm saying like, wouldn't we kind of be in the same position? Like he's a more dynamic runner.
Right. Way more
But
than, and what he brings to to the table is the ability. People know Hurts can run, but they aren't terrified of it. They're not basing their whole game plan on, all right, we got to go to Philly. We're playing Hurts. Like we got to spy him every single play because he can run for 80 yards. No one does that with Hurts. They're like, Hurts is going to hurt us for 6, 8, 10 yards. He's not going to break. I mean, he can, but he's not going to consistently break a 40, 50-yard run, make 4 guys miss and take it to the house. And imagine AJ Brown. Imagine this scenario to make your decision. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith play for the Ravens this season with Mark Andrews, who is, we'll say considerably similar to Goddard. Mark Andrews is probably a little better. Goddard's probably a better blocker, but not the point. But if I put AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on the Ravens this year, that's a scary, scary team. And we have probably a better offensive line than the Ravens. I think projecting wise, I think our defense should be better. So I'd make that move in a heartbeat. Obviously, if we got into compensation, that would depend on what the compensation would be. But our chances of winning a Super Bowl long term even are better with Lamar than Hurts, only because we have such a small sample size. We know what we get from Lamar Jackson, but we also know he hasn't had like crazy weapons around him. Neither has Hurts. But if I give Lamar Jackson, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith, and Goddard, and Miles Sanders, Kenny G, with a great offensive line and defense to back it, yeah, I'd make that move. That might not be.
Who would you take? Lamar. Say 2 quarterbacks are coming available. They're both runners. They both can run. But to me, one's much better of a passer. One's much more in the Russell Wilson mold. Maybe because he played a lot of baseball and a lot of throwing.
Yeah.
Would you take Kyler or Lamar?
Man, Kyler. Yeah, Kyler's a better passer. He scares me because I don't feel like he knows how to get down. He takes too many. He takes a lot of hits for being undersized. But yeah, I'd take Kyler over Lamar because I know he can throw the ball.
Kyler can throw the ball, man.
Yeah,
he can really throw the ball.
He's definitely electric. He's in between. He's like in between skill sets of like Lamar and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he's quick. He's so exciting to watch. I don't know about all this stuff about him wanting a contract. I don't like that kind of stuff. I think you should do your job. You're gonna get paid, bro. Do your job.
The problem though is like it used to be you have to win. We need to see multiple playoff wins, maybe a Super Bowl appearance in order to get this contract. Now it's just put up good numbers, barely make the playoffs, and now I want 150 million. And if you don't give it to me, 18 other teams will. Let
me ask you another question. With our roster the way it is, and then we'll do our predictions. So you can keep Jalen Hurts. Let's say all contracts equal. Jalen probably won't be the guy you pick because we just haven't seen enough. But Jalen, Kyler, this year for a Super Bowl run. Jalen, Kyler, Lamar, Kirk Cousins?
Well, we'll go ahead and cut Jalen Hurts out right off the rip. And it's nothing. Again, I like his character, but we haven't seen enough. He can't throw from the pocket that we've seen, not consistently. So we'll see on that. But so we'll take Hurts out. I like Kirk Cousins. I think he's a good player who, I mean, people talk bad about him. He's had some obviously bad games, but also their defense couldn't stop anybody. And, you're relying on, and, losing Dalvin Cook seems to be all the time, getting injured, this and that. So I'm not quick to throw Kirk Cousins out. If I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, I like what he can do. We won a Super Bowl.
You pull up his numbers, man.
Yeah.
Pull up his numbers. It's like, oh, Kirk Cousins, well, he just throws for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns.
Consistently. And pair that with the defense. So people are probably going to hate this, but I would take Lamar out next. And then I would come down to Kirk and Kyler.
And for a 1-year run, it's not projecting.
Right.
If you take him for long haul, you take Kyler.
Yeah, long haul, you're going Kyler. But if I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, Kyler's just a gamble. Like it's like, you have a dice and you're trying to roll like a 7. And it's like, well, with Kirk, you can roll a 7, a 4, a 3, or a 1. You know what I mean? And you like get results you need. So Super Bowl run, man, I think I'd still have to go. I consider myself a gambling man, so I'd still go Kyler, just because I do like Kirk. Kirk's going to get us consistently, but if we need the spark play, it's third and 12, and we need someone to get out of the pot, and Kyler can do that. Kirk basically has one option, and that's to throw it. So I would go Kyler for that. And I'm sure I'll get some hate for taking Lamar over or taking Kirk over Lamar. But if it's 1 year and I have to win a Super Bowl,
I have more faith with our roster.
I would go Kirk over Lamar and then Kyler over Kirk.
Dude, like the numbers, what do they say? Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
People do. Kirk Cousins puts up incredible numbers. It was like a 4th or 5th round pick.
Yeah.
He puts up incredible numbers. He can throw the football. He can sling it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he shrinks in the big moment. I don't follow Kirk Cousins' career a lot. I know people give him crap.
But everybody.
Dude, the numbers he's putting up. I mean, if Jalen puts up those numbers this year, like we're gonna be ecstatic. We're gonna think we've got a rock star. And here's what I want to point out. We're talking all these guys I'm mentioning, they're all mobile. Kirk Cousins isn't. Kirk Cousins doesn't play, he can't play outside structure.
Right.
But what we're hoping to see is that our quarterback can play. We're hoping that Jalen can learn to play within the structure. That means run the play. First read, second read, third read, first read, like read the field, boom, 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 and then make the proper read. Play within the structure. Wentz got off the rails because he's trying to take it out of structure every play.
But also, they put too much on his shoulders.
And hey, what historically is what I want to remind people of, because there's this big kick on mobile and like when you're scouting quarterbacks. Oh, can he play outside structure? It's like, okay, yeah, Aaron Rodgers can play outside structure. Yeah, he can create. And that's a good trait to have. But historically, who wins Super Bowls?
Yeah.
The guy that operates within structure, within the pocket, or the guy who can create?
Right.
Dude that can operate within structure from the pocket. And that's what Kirk Cousins does.
I do think it is changing as the game changes. So like these people that are able to improvise are becoming more valuable. But people talk about it like as far as like Patrick Mahomes, like this dude can he creates stuff on his own. It's like he also has Tyreek Hill, arguably the fastest guy in the league. Kelsey, obviously, like maybe the best tight end in the league, up there, top 2, 3. But not everyone has a cannon where you can roll to the right side of the field and then sidearm throw it 70 yards on a dime to Tyreek Hill. There's two guys. I mean, Josh Allen, we know can do that. Russell Wilson's deep balls like that. Russell Wilson, maybe. Aaron Rodgers, maybe. But there's not a lot of guys. So you can't bank on, like, you can't call Patrick Mahomes an improviser because we've seen him drop back and, fire the ball perfectly. He can improvise, same as Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray doesn't have nearly the arm strength. He's very strong arm. But if you watch like the tape of like Josh Allen, in my opinion, right now would be my pick. If I could pick any quarterback in the league, I'm picking him because it's effortless what he does. Like when he just drops back and like doesn't even like he's got pressure, so he doesn't need to go through mechanics at times where he's got pressure coming. And he just like literally like flicks his arm and throws it like 40 yards on a dime, like perfectly in stride. And so the improvisers I think are getting more valuable, guys that are able to create, things don't always work. Something happens, they bring a blitz or, a stunt, something happens and you need to be able to improvise. I like that. I think Jalen Hurts can do that. But basically getting kind of back on topic, historically, yes, it's like that. You're going to see Tom Brady's, Aaron Rodgers, these guys who are more of a classic, but people are evolving too.
Drew Brees.
Yeah. But people are evolving. I think we're going to see less and less of this classic, I'm going to do my reads and I think we're going to start seeing guys that can do those things, but can also, improvise like a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar. Lamar tends to improvise more than he throws, but.
And I'm rooting for Lamar.
Yeah, no, I like Lamar.
I'm not a Lamar hater. I would love to see him dominate from the pocket. I'd love to see Jalen Hurts dominate from the pocket.
And he has improved. I mean, if you look at Lamar's first year compared to now, he's improved.
I'd have to go watch his highlights and look at his stats and stuff. I was very impressed with Deshaun Watson's ability to throw the ball.
Yeah.
His last year he played, like, it was lights out. He could do it all, man.
With an awful team.
So we'll see. So let's end with predicting Jalen's future. What do you think he's gonna be? None of us know, but let's take a stab at it.
Talking like long term, like where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to lean towards my gut. I don't think he'll be, let's say 5 years. I don't think he'll be an Eagle. I think he'll have a pretty decent season this year and probably similar the year after that, but not enough to be like, all right, let's sign this guy to it. So I think we'll be looking probably towards the end of this year. I think we might be looking for the future guy. So like this time next year, we'll probably be making a video about, quarterback prospects for next year or maybe right before the draft next year, we'll be talking about the, guys coming in. I would say he's probably not going to be here. I would say at most he'll probably be here this year and maybe next year just to kind of really give him a chance and see what we have. But yeah, I would say he's not going to be, he's going to be probably like what he was, like a Pro Bowl alternate, right in that middle of the road pack, which it just isn't enough.
Yeah, the Eagles want a dominant passing quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what they want. I just want to win. I don't know how we do it. If the Ravens can win Super Bowls with their offense, and maybe they will, I'm fine with that. If you want to go all in on Jalen Hurts, run the football, and we can win, I'm fine. I don't care how we do it.
There's a difference, but not to cut you. So there's a difference between winning regular season though and winning in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and that's what we're gonna have to see is we can win games because our defense can help us. But if our defense isn't there or the running game gets stopped, can he take that leap this year and put the team on his shoulders and win a game like you guys we talked about?
Then you put him in shotgun, 4 wide, 5 wide. All right, we're down by 17.
Yeah.
It's the third quarter, halfway through the third quarter. We got to come back. That's what I want to see. Can he slice and dice? We know he couldn't. can he learn? Can he develop to slice and dice? Is he a guy that needs to play with a lead, or is he just an animal? Can he really develop into a great passer? I'm so hesitant to say it because you just don't see it.
No, you don't see develop a lot. I mean,
You
here
don't
and
see
there.
guys change. You don't see their game change that much at this level.
Like even Lamar's gotten like a lot better. Like I think he's improved a lot, but he's still not there. So that's what scares me is like seeing Jalen in college last year. It's like, man, he's improved, but not that much. It's like not enough to warrant a big contract. You know, he would have to have a monstrous year this year. And even then, I'm hesitant because of what we saw with Carson Wentz. We don't want to see ourselves in the same situation. Let's say Jalen comes out and throws for 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, you know, and we make the playoffs, we win a game, and then we, you know, let's say we lose in the second round, whatever. I'm not ready to throw him money because we've seen this before. Do we want another Carson situation where we throw him $100 million too quickly? Next year he comes out and he's mediocre. And the year after that, mediocre. It's like, all right, now we got to eat some dead cap again. So I think he'll be here at least 2 more years, unless he's just atrocious this year. I think he'll be here 2 more years, but I think they'll look. But what are your thoughts?
I kind of feel the same, man, and I'm like depressed to say it. I don't want to speak the negative.
Yeah, you don't want to say, yeah, our quarterback's not our quarterback of the future. No one wants to say their team.
I hope he is, but I gotta trust my gut, and I just don't think he'll develop as a passer to the point where he really needs to.
Right.
I think it seems like guys show who they are pretty early.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much change you see. You know, I think Brady's rookie year, they went to the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He went in. Bledsoe got hurt. He went in the game and he could play. And but then again, you know, you got guys like Wentz that flash greatness and then fall off the face of the earth. So
yep.
I am rooting for Jalen Hurts. I am rooting for it, but I don't think he'll be the guy. I think he'll be our quarterback this year. I think he would be our quarterback next year. Maybe they go get a guy like CJ Stroud. They'll have to give up a whole lot. And you know, this is a different topic, dude, but should we be chasing? Maybe the Eagles are going to change their philosophy. 2 things. Number 1, should we really be chasing the franchise guy? Should we be chasing a generational Aaron Rodgers like talent? Is that sane?
Right.
So should you search the whole world for your soulmate? You know, like your one soulmate in the whole world, you know,
right.
And you marry a girl that, you know, grew up 2 hours from you or in your city. Like, so should we chase the quarterback like that? And then the other thing is like, if Jalen plays good, do we have to make him the highest paid quarterback?
Right.
Like, he's not the best.
That's how it is though, like right now. And it's insanity, but that's how it is. The next quarterback who needs a contract is the highest paid quarterback.
It's stupid.
It's a horrible business plan. It's like
Deshaun Watson should not get paid more than Aaron Rodgers.
No.
They say, inflation. It's stupid. The best guy should get paid the most money.
Yeah. And Tom Brady has never been paid. He's never been the highest paid quarterback in the league his entire career. And that's how it should be, though. Like, he's taken multiple pay cuts so they can retain guys because he wants to win. He doesn't care. Obviously, he cares about money. Everyone cares about money. It doesn't hurt that your wife, you know, worth twice as much as you. And, you know, so, but like.
And his great career, by letting that money go in some indirect way, his great career has brought tenfold. He brought that money back tenfold.
Yeah, but like the whole idea with the Buccaneers, like, oh, we don't have money for this. We don't have money to bring back Fournette, Vita Vea, like Sue's going to be gone. And like, he took a pay cut. And like, I'm not saying we should find a guy that wants to take a pay. Like, I'm not saying that, but that's an attribute that I like. because he wants to win us another Super Bowl. So he's willing, like take 12 million off my contract, go sign Fournette, go sign Sue, Vita Vea, like sign the guys we need to keep this team going. And that's kind of where we're at. So I don't think we need to search, because we're not going to find a Patrick Mahomes if you're looking for it. Like, you don't find these things because you're looking for it. Now the Chiefs can say, we knew he was going to be this. They didn't. They saw, big arm. They saw attributes, that you can't really teach. And they were like, we can work with that, pair him with
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Look what he did with Vic. Look what he did with McNabb.
Yeah. And that's what I think. You have an idea, but you never know. There's big arm guys that come in all the time that just aren't football players. Josh Allen's one of the ones we've talked about before. No one ever thought Josh Allen was it. Watching him, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's big arm, big frame, but he's not going to be like a franchise guy.
That was a huge projection.
Yeah, and he's developed. So that's kind of, I think, where we're at. Like, we don't need to find a diamond in the rough. We don't but I do lean towards, I don't think Jalen's going to improve enough to be our franchise guy. But it's going to depend a lot on free agency.
How many years has Allen been in the league? Because that is a guy who's developed a lot. Yeah. I said earlier, you don't see guys really develop that much.
Well, you don't. I mean,
he's developed a lot.
Yeah, you don't see it a lot. I mean, it's not like, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen.
Herbert was pretty good his first year, though, wasn't he?
Well, I'm saying if you look at from Oregon, if you look at his Oregon stats, you're like, yeah, he had a solid year. I think his last year there, he wasn't great, but again, it wasn't Oregon like we were what I was used to, back in the day when Mariota and every guy that ran under a 4.4 played for Oregon. And that's just kind of how it was. So again, watching his college stuff, you're like, you're just projecting. You're going off things you can't teach. He looked good in combine, whatever, pro day, but I don't know, man. I didn't get that excited about Jalen Hurts. Again, I like his character and stuff, but I'd be more excited if the guy we drafted dropped back and could sling it 85 yards, and we're just shooting our shot, taking a gamble, rather than, all right, we know this guy can do this. Now we just have to teach him the rest. So we'll see, man. I don't know. I'm not super confident. That would be my opinion as of now, is probably 2 more years with us, and then we'll probably be, looking elsewhere.
Hope we're wrong.
Hopefully. I hope so. I hope he comes out, and I hope he's a stud and took leaps and bounds, and really it all clicked for him. And, I hope so. Just not confident in that. But
you see it very often.
What's that?
You don't see it very often. So
guys don't like that. So
I'm very excited, though. This is the most excited I've been for an Eagles season, I think. And I'm excited every year, but I'm really excited about this one.
Every year is right.
What's that?
Every year is our year.
Yeah, that's right. But every year we got a shot.
We'll have to touch base on one of these videos. I saw an uptick. Nakobe Dean's first team reps. I've been upticking. They're just each time he's getting more reps at the first.
Really?
Team. Yeah. So they were running TJ Edwards and I think Davion Taylor is what I saw, which could be because injuries and whatever else. But yeah, he's seen an uptick. They've been running what we expected: Slay, Bradbury, and then Maddox in the slot. And it looks like Harris and Epps are going to be the go-to guys at safety. But
who's when Dean's seeing an increase in reps, who's coming out of the game? Taylor or Edwards?
I think Taylor. So it could be a positional thing. Maybe a certain certain scenario type thing. But I can't imagine that Nakobe Dean is not gonna play he's gonna be outshined by Davion Taylor. I love Davion Taylor's athleticism, but can he play linebacker? Nakobe Dean is just, I think from what I've read, he fell because of injuries. A pectoral, some type of tear or something, and he had a few other knick-knack injuries. But we'll save that for another day. I don't want to get off topic and start going on another rant for 30 minutes, but
Let's just do another 45 here. We'll
Yeah. Who doesn't want to sit down and watch a 3-hour YouTube video?
our wives will they don't care.
Yeah. But
all right, buddy. Well, I will see you later this afternoon, guys. Hey, thank you for watching. We appreciate the support. We're going to keep putting out some content once a week, talk some Eagles football, two brothers in Ohio. Hope everybody's doing good. If you like this type of content, please leave us some comments, and please subscribe. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
buddy.